Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Rishi Harinan, and this is the C News Live Report at noon.
And I'm Video Ramphal with your sports report.
Topping the news at this time, the Ministry of Education will launch an investigation into an incident at the Karapichaima Astra Primary School which left a Standard 2 student with a broken arm. The father of the 8-year-old student had claimed his son was in the play park of the school when he was ambushed and stomped on. However, according to the Ministry of Education, this is not the case. Minister Anthony Garcia is quoted as saying the students were playing a game of police and thief. During that game, a student fell and he fell on his arm and he suffered a fracture to his arm. The child was taken to hospital for medical attention. Now, the union representing teachers says it's about time the Ministry of Education put people in schools to supervise school children during break periods, especially during the lunch hour. This after another report surfaced where an 8-year-old student of the Karapichaima Astra School was allegedly beaten by a student and suffered a broken arm. This incident reportedly took place on Tuesday. Last month, there was an incident at the Mayara Gov't Primary School which saw a 9-year-old student suffering a broken arm, and a similar claim of bullying was made. Speaking with C News this morning, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Lindsay Dudai, said it seems as though there is a new trend taking place.
Time supervision, because it is accepted that the teachers are on their lunch break and they need this break to refresh themselves and to take a breather for the afternoon session. So in many jurisdictions there is the use of persons hired as playground supervisors or schoolyard supervisors or whatever it is.
As it relates to the latest incident at the Astra Primary School, Mr. Dudai said he has not yet spoken with the principal of the school on the matter but will do so before the end of today. He again cautioned parents on letting their children watch certain types of TV shows.
I said in my government incident, and I am saying it again, children of such an impressionable age should not be sitting with their parents in many instances and looking at wrestling that goes on for hours on weeknights. So parents have to be more responsible in terms of what they are allowing their children to look at. Also, there's another issue, and I don't want to throw only blame on parents. There's also another issue of supervision at school.
And the president of TTUTA has also confirmed he got a second pre-action protocol letter from a school official from the St. Madeleine Government Secondary School.
Concerned and unprotected, and we had a daily newspaper on Sunday highlighting some of the issues affecting the school, and that advertisement also put the focus on the Ministry of Education in terms of how they were handling the issue. So, as I said, the second pre-action protocol letter, as with the first, we will send it to our attorneys for their attention. We are confident that we will be able to successfully defend this claim by the school official in terms of the claim for libel.
Over the past weeks, there have been calls by teachers for the removal of the principal as they claimed victimization and financial mismanagement. The Piaco International Airport will be closed during the hours of 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. from March 12th to 19th, 2017. In a release, Caribbean Airlines said this is due to scheduled maintenance work being conducted on the airport runway by the Airport Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. As a result, several Caribbean Airlines flights will be affected during this period. Any passengers affected by possible cancellations will be reaccommodated on other services. It said passengers traveling on Caribbean Airlines between 12th March and 19th March may contact Caribbean Airlines call center for further information. As Cabinet gets set to meet in Tobago, Tobagonians say the inefficiencies of the air and sea bridges between Trinidad and Tobago remain a major issue for the people on the island. They are also hoping the issues of crime and agriculture are addressed. The post-cabinet press briefing will be held at 1 o'clock today at the Madeleine Grand Beach Resort, Lowlands, Tobago. Live coverage right here on CTV and Talk City 91.1 FM from 1 p.m. This is the C News Live Report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at C News Live. Transport Commissioner Wayne Richards has confirmed there have been some instances where people's driver's permit numbers have been duplicated. However, he said there is nothing to worry about. C News received complaints that people are taking longer than normal to have their permits renewed, because of the mix-up. We spoke with the commissioner on the matter and he explained the cause of the mix-up.
To all of the offices, there isn't a problem per se, and the duplication isn't nothing that is not new. Since I joined the work, which is many years ago, we had a situation where some numbers in Tobago, because the systems didn't have connectivity with standalone, there were some instances where numbers were given out to more than one site in error. Well, those things were checked and were being dealt with, but some people never came in. Now we have a system with connectivity. When the person goes to the site, we deal with all of the duplicated, not to say that it's false permits or anything like that.
He said the problem should not last too long.
We would verify that the permits were legitimate permits, and in this case we are purging the system by issuing all duplicate persons a new number.
Well, now we take a look at the weather forecast.
March is typically the driest month of the year for Trinidad and Tobago. Today, among the sunny spells, there may be a few clouds and a few brief showers, especially across the hills of the northern range. Overall, it will feel pleasant at 30 to 32 degrees Celsius. But it will also feel quite windy, especially in eastern areas where the palms swaying and the flags rippling. And the rough seas will continue under these strong winds, 3 meters through the Caribbean and possibly higher out in the Atlantic, and 25 knot winds bringing foaming crests and sea spray as well. Seas will worsen during the high tide at 2 p.m. before waters flow for the 8:30 p.m. low tide. That's the latest weather, and I am meteorologist Ian Wallace.
The National Trade Union Center has joined the international community of transport workers to help port workers in Spain, as it says the Spanish government is pursuing legislative action which amounts to an infringement and direct attack on the democratic rights of the dock workers and, by extension, their trade union representatives in Spain. The legislative action will debar the workers from having an input and negotiating with the government of Spain on matters that may affect the terms and conditions of their employment. President of NATUC, Michael Anisat, said that workers there have his team's full support.
The protest is done on the basis of the trade union philosophy that a blow to one worker is a blow to all workers. And the attempt by the Spanish government to go to Parliament and legislate measures that will marginalize dock workers, one, that will take away substantially the terms and conditions of employment, is something that we in Trinidad and Tobago, we are concerned about.
The protest outside the Spanish embassy this morning is not singular. As Mr. Anisat said, it is part of an international protest in which other countries' unions are showing their displeasure with the Spanish government's move. Mr. Anisat assured, in this, the initial stage of the protest, work stoppage will not occur, but they are prepared to do more with the international community of workers if the Spanish government does not allow dock workers to take part in negotiations.
You have England, you have almost the whole of Europe, you have Australia, you have dockers in South Africa, you have dockers in South and Latin America, because the reach of the ITF is international, it is global. So that where you have ITF affiliate unions, and we have in several major countries, they will be participating in this day of protest.
The International Transport Workers Federation has about 700 unions representing over 4.5 million transport workers from some 150 countries. The Siparia Regional Corporation has set up an alternative dispute resolution committee to deal with or assist people under their jurisdiction who may be having domestic or other problems. This, according to the corporation's chairman, Dr. Glenn Ramadasing, is one way to deal with the crime situation. He said people have become fearful for their lives, and from as early as 6 p.m. people begin to lock up in their homes.
Cases where people are subjected to elderly abuse because they are weak or sick or differently able or incapacitated. They be targeted by persons who are either irresponsible and indisciplined, and so they become the victims. And therefore, at the community level, we see we need alternative dispute resolution between neighbors, between groups in the community for using recreational facilities, community center, sports facilities. And so we saw the wisdom in taking away a lot of these issues that clog the corporation minutes to a committee for alternative dispute resolution and community mediation.
He said he is also happy that municipal police will be given more manpower, as he said his corporation only has 5 officers.
And we want officers on the beat. Local government representatives are closer to the people, closer to the community. And to have surveillance in the community, we need the officers. And therefore, in the community too, there's need for mediation because neighbors have disputes. You would have seen that the police commissioner has indicated that there has been a drop in serious crimes over the last 2 or 3 years. And they have pointed to the fact that domestic situations cause murders.
Sport now, and Vidya, the West Indies cricket team in trouble yet again.
Yeah, certainly. Well, the man who's tormenting them is Hurricane Alex Hales. He scored 100. The Super League has announced a major equipment deal with sportswear and equipment brand Umbro. The league made the announcement on Wednesday, and officials expect the partnership to be a profitable one. Jesse Marique has more.
The founding purpose and the guiding principle of the Trinidad and Tobago Super League is to make football commercially viable, to make our member clubs commercially viable, and to bring commercial benefits to our clubs.
In the words of Keith Lookloy himself, a dollar saved is a dollar earned. It is against that principle that Umbro has signed a 2-year deal worth over $150,000 with an option for a third, and which would benefit the teams in the Super League.
This is a sponsorship or a partnership that will make equipment of various types available to our clubs either free or at ridiculously low prices.
Omar Hadid, CEO of Sports and Games Limited, the local agent for Umbro, says that it is not a new type of alignment for the brand.
You may look at the Premier League, you may not see much of their brand anymore because it's controlled by the mega brands, the Nikes, the Adidas. But as you go down the leagues, the Nationwide League, the 2nd Division, the 3rd Division, you would start to see more of the Umbro brand. They've always invested in grassroots football. So they have now decided to expand worldwide into new markets, including the Caribbean.
There was further emphasis on the desire to be financially viable. Therefore, the league will operate on a budget raised from membership fees only. Any other source of income will fall in the profit column and be shared.
Equipment is money, but cash is money too. And what we're looking for is partnerships with other brands in other areas of economic life that will pay to associate with our brand. We have a formula in our league. If the league, which we have agreed, it is called our founding agreement. The league makes a profit. 50% of the profit is shared equally among the 24 shareholders. Everybody gets an equal share. Of the remaining 50%, 25% is shared equitably among the 24 shareholders based on the placing in the league. So if you come last, you get $1. You come second to last, you get $2. And if you come first, you get $24. And the remaining 25% is reinvested in the league.
Now, national football coach Dennis Lawrence visited the national men's hockey team on Tuesday night as they prepared for international competition. The national hockey team are getting ready for the FIH League Round 2 tournament later this month. Ruskin Wong has more.
Lawrence didn't mince words with the talented bunch of national hockey stars, telling them how proud he was of them for making it this far, but challenged them to commit. He wanted them to excel every time they stepped out on the turf and be mindful of who they are representing.
Commitment is coming, giving you all an understanding that you are in a position. There is so many others would love to be in your position. They would love to come here and wear the national shirt with pride and honor. Whatever rewards in life that we are going to be given, it is already made in destiny, because God has his plan for every single one of us. Turn up and enjoy this challenge to represent Trinidad and Tobago. Embrace it, because not many would be given the opportunity.
In keeping it real, Lawrence also cautioned the players that things wouldn't always go well, but they had to find balance in everything they did and be careful with how they handled fame, especially when dealing with social media.
You play your best game, you're the hero. You're the greatest thing on the earth. You're the best thing. Everybody loves you. Then you play your worst game, those same people who are calling you the hero, they then say things about you that it does affect you. So what you would like to do is believe in your coaches, believe in your teammates. If your teammates and your coaches said to you had a good game, that's enough for you. You don't need to know what anybody else thinks. Your coaches, your teammates, those are the people around you, believe in what they're saying to you. And forget the message board, forget the post on Twitter, I had the greatest game, and forget it. I'm telling you, because it can become a hindrance to your career if it's not done the correct way.
He even used his own example to drive home the point about being ready to take advantage of the opportunity they have been given to wear the national colors, saying he couldn't do it alone but needed his teammates. He also told them that it was all part of God's predetermined plan, and he encouraged them to go out and do their best and deliver more history for TNT. Oscar Mark, C Sports.
Well, that is it for sports.
Well, that brings us to the end of the C News Report. I'm Rishi Harinanan.
And I'm Video Rampo.
Remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, you can visit the C News website at ctvtt.com.